Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We as them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. And your house is the perfect distraction. Pumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke. What is up, guys? What is cracking? This is the Con Man, and I am in your house. And you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we here to give you that work when it comes to professional wrestling business. And guys, what day is it? Oh yeah, that's right. It's Wednesday. And you know what that means. That means it's time for the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. And of course, it can't be the Raw Deal with just Howse, because when you say the Raw Deal with Howse, it's not, you don't got the O'Neal, it rhymes. That's what makes it poppy, is the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. So you gotta have O'Neal when you have Howse when you're doing the Raw Deal. And of course, I gotta bring her in, and that's the big dog, divinely designed Annie O'Neal. She is returning to In Your House.
What's up, everyone? It's Wednesday. It's Raw. It's Con and Annie giving it to you raw. What's up?
How you doing, Annie? Another week where we get a chance to do this, come together and talk a little bit of wrestling, talk Monday Night Raw, and man, what a Monday Night Raw it was to talk about.
And boy, was it ever. Just another great episode, and let's hit him with a review.
Yeah, most definitely. We're going to jump right into it. But of course, I got to ask, Annie, how's your last week been?
You know what? It's been really intense, but it's who you are in the process. And I just like what I see. The decisions I've made, they're coming to fruition, and I'm just really happy what's to come. How about you?
Hey, you know how it is. Peaks and
Absolutely.
valleys.
Absolutely.
Working through it. Every single day is a new day to wake up and have a fresh look at it. You know, a bunch of stuff going on for me with family and whatnot. Actually just grabbed, I went ahead and grabbed a couple of tickets to AEW Dynamite.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm going to go. It's
Have you ever been yet?
I have. I've been to a couple of AEW shows. I've been to a couple of them. But yeah, they're bringing Dynamite here to Fishers, and that's like really close to me. I was like, why not? The tickets were a good price. So yeah, in December, I'm going to be taking my son to AEW Dynamite and just checking out some wrestling. I haven't been to a live wrestling show since it's been a year. So yeah.
So how does that fan experience differ from then being in the crowd at a WWE show? Because I haven't been to an AEW show yet.
You haven't been to one? Okay.
I haven't. Nope. So, I think there's only been one show in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe two.
I went to one in Indianapolis, and I'm going to one in Fishers, which is just like it's basically Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But when I went there, it was just a crowd. It was definitely the alternative crowd was out. It was people that were hungry and ready for something that was not WWE, and they wanted so fully to get behind it. I felt it. I get it. I wanted to be a part of that experience as well, and it was fun. I had a blast. That's why, even though I don't really follow AEW that much, I'll still go to the show just because, like, I love going to live wrestling shows. And AEW was fun, so I'll definitely go again, and I'm excited to go.
I mean, different experiences make the whole entire thing that much more cultured, you know? Like, what is this product about? How is it different than what we primarily just focus on? So, yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a blast. It's gonna be great. But you know, another thing that was a blast, Annie, was this Monday Night Raw. I gotta tell you, a lot of things going on. We have to address the elephant in the room. Jey Uso, he's the new Intercontinental Champion. He finally did it.
You know what? 14 years for this moment in the making, and honestly, like, they went the distance this match. They really, really, really did. I mean. I didn't expect Braun to be an easy opponent by any means, but Jey Uso rose to an even new level, really, really cementing why he is the main event and why he belongs there.
Yeah, I agree. And we've talked about this. We talked about this for weeks, Annie, is I feel like that they put themselves in between a rock and a hard place with that booking because Braun Breaker just won the title in what, August? Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
I think it was a little over like 77 days.
Wow.
It wasn't very long.
It wasn't long at all. And I didn't expect that from somebody as like dominant as Breaker. Like, I know he'll take a loss from time to time, like, but he's always been like a dominant like type of presence that you wouldn't think he would lose it that quick. But also, it's not lost on me the fact that, you know, Jey Uso literally almost had Roman Reigns beat. He literally had Roman Reigns beat for the Universal Championship. So Jey Uso can dig in his bag and he can have like a big match. Like, let's not get it twisted. He earned the name Main Event Jey Uso. I mean, that name came there for a reason. Absolutely. But it was just he wasn't winning anything, and now he finally won something. So now I think we can see Jey Uso a little bit differently. But I guess my question for you is, what do you think is next for Braun Breaker? Because you have to be questioning that, because he's not the IC champion anymore. He didn't have the title that long. He's legitimately got the crowd behind him. Not as much, obviously, as Jey Uso. Jey Uso is one of the most over baby faces in the company. But what do you think is next for Braun Breaker?
I'm going to ask a similar question in return. And because we've been asking this other question too, what's next for Gunther? If not Sammy, then who else?
Yeah.
I mean, with that strap fresh off Braun Breaker, I mean, maybe not in the immediate future, maybe in a month or two.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is the last match between Jey and Braun for this strap yet. But I think it'll take a few wins over Braun Breaker for Jey to be really solidified as the new IC champion. I mean, you got to wear it in, right? You got to break it in.
Yeah.
But when Braun Breaker it slowly fades out to that picture, I think he will be reinserted into maybe the world title picture.
You know, I could see that, and I did think about that a little bit, because Breaker's kind of been teetering between heel and face.
Right.
But the crowd does like him. The crowd does get behind him. When the dogs start barking, they start barking wherever Monday Night Raw is at. So you can easily make him a baby face, especially against such a believable heel like Gunther.
And he doesn't even have to change his disposition. He can still be that big dog. He can still be that great white shark that he is, without changing that.
Unpredictable badass.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be the fun, lovable Sami Zayn essence. He doesn't have to fulfill that. He can still be the badass, which he totally is. And off that, I think Gunther even becomes even more of a mega heel.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I agree with that. I think that's a good lane for Braun Breaker, just because his trajectory has been really crazy. Maybe he pick up a few wins. Maybe they do like I wouldn't be mad if they did like some sort of tournament to determine the next number one contender for the World Heavyweight Champion, and Braun Breaker won that tournament, because at least in that time that would give Gunther a chance to get one, maybe possibly two more championship defenses under his belt before he sees Breaker, and we can see Breaker as a legitimate, Gunther's been champion for a little bit. Braun Breaker might actually have a chance of winning this thing. So and that's what they got to do. They got to build it up to where it's like believable enough for him to actually have a shot against Gunther without us saying, "Oh, there's no way he's losing it this soon." Gunther's got to we got to let Gunther get his reign in a little bit and get some time into his reign before you start bringing in new opponents that are like, okay, we think he's been champion long enough to a point where it's like, if this dude beat him, I wouldn't be shocked or mad or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
something like that.
Do you have a specific timeline in mind where you think that it's appropriate for Braun to go after Gunther? Do you think, and what factors need to be present for you to support that run?
Yeah, good question.
I know I have really good questions. That's why I want to know them.
Yeah. But Sammy's coming. I don't know when Sammy's coming, but Sammy's coming. I don't think Sammy's coming at Bad Blood, but I think it's happening sometime. He's gonna come. He's gonna get that or get a shot at that title, and it's gonna happen. And I don't know how long they're staggering that off to.
I mean, and also, Con, you convey to me that you are a very determined individual. Like, doesn't matter how many no's that you hear or how many doors that are closed in front of your face, you will inevitably have what you want. And like, what are you willing to do to overcome that? And I feel like that heightens Sammy's motivation even more.
Yeah. I agree with you, but to stay with the question at hand, I mean, that's a good point, by the way. But I don't know when we get Sammy, and it's gonna come across from that. But I mean, Braun, give him a chance to build himself up. There's even a possibility, and I didn't even get a chance to talk about this, that Braun Breaker might just win the Intercontinental Championship back. I mean, and in quick fashion. And yeah, that might be kind of hot takey, but I think it could happen.
That points me to another question. How long do you think Jay needs to hold this IC reign?
So with Braun Breaker, I would for Braun Breaker and Gunther, I would give that at least until past Survivor Series.
Okay.
So, like,
yeah, that's a good timeline.
Past that point. So a little past that. Maybe December, maybe January.
In what? How many months is that?
What is it? We're almost in October, so about 2-3 months.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good tenured run.
Yeah, I think that's good enough time. As far as Jay, I really couldn't tell you because once again, I still see that there's a strong possibility that Jay might drop it in the rematch to Braun Breaker, not by anything that Jay's done, but because he's been fucking around with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, who got smoked with the Judgment Day, and we're gonna get your thoughts more on the Judgment Day storyline a little bit later on with some Annie analysis. But I could see a reality where he's put himself in a situation where the Judgment Day is going to come and help Braun Breaker win that title back, because Braun did help the Judgment Day by dispatching Jay while they was whooping Rhea and Damian's ass. So I could definitely see that. It's not something I think I want to see, but I'm just saying it's something that could possibly happen.
It could. It totally could. I mean, that's a point I didn't even think of.
So there's that. Once again, congratulations to Jey Uso. I'm happy to see it. I didn't even get a chance to say that. Most definitely congratulations. Also,
a point I wanted to bring up was the hubris that Braun Breaker really exhibited in this match, right? Like, instead of going for the pinfall and putting away Jey Uso early when he could have, he decides to do freaking push-ups.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we can assume that he can do push-ups. Like, he's done the NFL combines, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, I mean, and you know what? To Jey Uso's credit, he did say that Braun Breaker's IC reign was going to be as short as his NFL career. That still popped me. So I just wanted to bring that up again because it was really funny.
Jay did exactly what he said he's going to do. And I think, Annie, that there's a story in the fact that, maybe Braun got cocky. Maybe he made a rookie mistake by, fooling around and sleeping on the veteran Jey Uso. And that's exactly what I think the story could be with that one. But I'm once again happy to see Jey
Absolutely.
win. I mean, it's going to be cool seeing him next Monday when we get a chance to talk about that next Wednesday as he comes out with the title and how he's going to hold it over his waist. Is he going to have it or around his waist? Is he going to have it over his shoulder? It's definitely going to be interesting to see.
And you know who is also excited by gold is Mommy.
Yes, she is. She loves her some gold.
She loves herself a champion.
Yes, she does, and she's looking to win herself back some gold, and we're definitely going to talk about that. But I want to pivot to, we just talked about Jey Uso and him having his major singles moment, which was awesome for him. Let's pivot a little bit over to a man that is frustrated by the fact that he hasn't had his singles moment, and that's Xavier Woods. I want to talk a little bit more about this New Day stuff because it's really starting to compel me, Annie.
This match was going to be very interesting, dependent on the outcome. Yeah. It really was. Especially after we saw the beginning of what looked like a spiral from Xavier Woods last week.
Yep.
They really began the match pretty intact, but the foundation was still very shaky.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to be getting from this New Day storyline. I know our friends over at the Window Lickers, they really kind of broke that down as far as what their thoughts were and what could happen. And I kind of want to expand on that a little bit. I don't know if we're going to see a cleared Big E come back. That's what they talked a little bit about because there's been no indication. I mean, if somebody knows something I don't know, then you could show me something. But I haven't seen any indication that he's cleared or close to being cleared or even trying to get cleared. And there's just no news out there. Maybe something's happening in the background. I don't know. But right now, it does not look like that we're getting a Big E return. I don't think we could count on that right now. I think we got to stick with the story that they're telling us right now because I think that something big is coming for Xavier, and I can see it in just all the little things that's happening with him.
You know what? And one thing that WWE storyline is rife with right now is the element of surprise. Like, they're so good at sowing the seeds that just because they allude to something doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
And then, like, boom, you're hit with an airplane. Like, it's my, you know what? I admit it. It's my fault that my hopes are being raised. I see a little whispering on the interwebs, and I immediately think that things are going to happen just because it's projected out there. But I mean, just because the Big E line is being pushed, I'm not, as much as I want to believe it's going to come to fruition, I'm not going to be surprised if it doesn't.
Yeah, that's not going to shock me in the slightest bit. That's not to say I wouldn't love it if he came back and was cleared.
And
I'd love to see that.
I really think that was a genius detail to implement right after the Odyssey Jones, whatever that was. Because we still don't know.
Yeah, nobody truly knows, yeah.
Right. So I don't even want to call to something that isn't there, but like moving on after that happened, like that was a really good way to invite the crowd into, even more. So
yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Xavier. I think it's interesting, though. It has really started to intrigue me. And I love the fact that WWE is just letting them tell this story through whatever the hell the final testament was supposed to be to whatever the hell happened to Odyssey Jones. They've let them stay steady with this storyline and where they're going with it. So I believe it's going somewhere.
One thing to Xavier Woods' continuity in his storyline is like the things that he's like feeling in his brain space, he's actually projecting them. And it's really interesting because with the display of the distracted ref angle again, like we saw last week, like that backfired on him. Like all he had to do was pay attention, not let things get out of hand. He just had to, and then like the same thing happened again, but differently.
Yep. So I think it was Kevin Calloway who brought up this point on Monday on Window Lickers. Mm-hmm. What if we actually do just see Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston split amicably
And we see a more vicious side of a singles Xavier Woods. Maybe he wants to feel more of that vicious side and believes that if he's on his own, he doesn't feel like he has to watch somebody's back or worry about, oh, what's going to happen? Am I going to lose the match just because I'm, on top of Chad Gable or something like that, whooping his ass? Maybe I just need to worry about myself. So we see an amicable split, but we do see a more vicious, more heelish side of Xavier Woods, which leads to Kofi Kingston to coming later and saying, hey, what are you doing? What's going on here? And then, boom, I'd even like to see him at that point. That's when he's like, you know what, whatever. And he just takes out Kofi.
I mean, I feel like we're seeing a pattern that Kofi is trying to mend the bridges, and Xavier Woods is in the process of burning them down.
So that's an interesting point, because he's trying. I think I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
you're good.
Like I'm thinking, because when Kofi approached Xavier, remember he had like the Francesca, his musical instrument. He had the Bootios from way back in the day, and I think you're right. He's trying to mend fences, but I don't think that's where Xavier's focus is at. I think Kofi is like, oh, let's try to go to what made us great back then. I think Xavier is trying to tap into something new.
Yes. And it's almost like the more that Kofi tries to hang on to what made them great in the beginning, the more it's sending Xavier over the edge, because when it's time to change. The ramifications of when you resist evolution. Like, you feel stagnant, you get bored, you're prone to feeling things that you don't typically feel, because you can't. You either outgrow nature or you take it. You beat it back. Yeah. I mean, it's almost running the risk of irrelevancy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what's happening with New Day. New Day, if you remember the great days of New Day after they got through that little ugly part where they tried to break them out there and be face, then the crowd rejected them, and then they ended up turning heel, and then they just ended up being great, like annoying heels. And that just turned them naturally babyface, and then they ended up becoming one of the greatest factions, in the last 10 years.
Wow, fandom is fickle.
Yeah. They really had to move through those waves, and it's hard. Sometimes it's hard because sometimes you got to figure out how to catch the crowd. I loved the idea of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and Big E as a stable. I was a week away from the show where the New Day actually debuted together, and it was just I went to the Raw a week before they debuted. But it was still it was cool though, because I was ready to see whatever they were gonna do. Then fans didn't like it. Then they pivoted. That was the biggest thing about the New Day that made them great. Was that they were determined to stay together, and they were determined to make it work. So they were able to pivot until it worked for them, and then it did. And I think that's exactly what Xavier Woods is trying to do now. It's like you said, right now it's the risk of irrelevancy, and I think that New Day is trying to keep themselves relevant in this fast-moving card on WWE Raw.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So on the other side, do you think there is enough facts present for Kofi potentially doing a heel turn instead?
I could see it. I mean, I could definitely see him. I could see a reality where he's not even really been plotting on him, but basically doesn't trust Xavier. He's like, man, wait, all you ever do is complain. You complain about this and complain about that, but I was doing this way before you showed up here in WWE. I'm a former WWE champion. I was a multi-time tag team champion before you were here. Maybe I don't need you. Maybe you're the problem. And we can see a pivot in that way.
I feel like sometimes it's human nature to project one's own inadequacies onto another person and not even realize it. When it's internal, it actually becomes external. And I feel like that's almost the case, where X might not know what he's putting on to Kofi indirectly, because you know, I mean, a lot of people don't know how to handle their shit.
Yeah, yep.
That we've never been taught these things. But just because you're going through something difficult, you're still responsible for how you make people feel.
Yeah.
And like, people don't have to keep being graceful. They don't have to keep being on the receiving end of the punching bag.
True. No, very, very, very true. And that, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, I could definitely see a reality where Kofi Kingston ends up being the heel. Where it would go from there, I'm not too sure. I don't know how many. I respectfully, of course, I don't know how much more years Kofi has. I mean, maybe three or four, something like that, depending on where he is, and it's different for athletes. You know, nobody can tell him he's done till he's ready. You know.
How long has he been on WWE?
Oh man, that is a good question, because I could remember him way back in the day. I'm talking about like 2010. So like Kofi Kingston, I'd have to look it up. I'd have to look it up as far as how long Kofi's been around, but it's been a really, really long time. He's been with WWE for a minute. So, wow, yeah, I think he debuted. I found it here. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. He debuted in 2007.
Yes. So, that's insane. That's, and probably wrestling even longer
before that.
Wow.
And that's for him to still be going at this level right now is crazy. I mean, it's just a testament to the work that he puts in.
Kofi Kingston has always existed, like God.
Yeah. So his it looks like his wrestling debut was in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wasn't out, like he wasn't really in the indies or anything like that for that long before WWE picked him up.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you have exactly what they're looking for, it's not a surprise.
No, true.
I mean, I feel like there are definitely cases where they looked for talent that has that potential but's unrefined.
Sure. No, absolutely. I'm interested to see where this storyline goes. The fellas over at Window Liquors really had me thinking, and it really just got my mind working. But we got to keep it rolling here, because we got to talk a little bit of Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. Those two are still fighting. They're still fighting, still going at it, still having refs chasing them around. So Voice brought up the point on the Window Liquors. He was a little bit bored with Strowman, and we talked about it, and I definitely feel like where he's going with it. But damn, I'm entertained by this continuous fight between Strowman and Reed. What are your thoughts?
You know, it's like, I feel like there are different ways to keep it interesting. Like, this is one of them. You know, schedule, like how they booked this match. We expected Bronson Reed to have another match with The Miz.
Yeah.
And then Braun Strowman obviously intervened. Like, I think things like that will keep it interesting.
Yeah.
You can't have the destruction and violence and the terrorizing on the set every week, because it's not going to be novelty anymore. But that element of surprise and just switching up the intention and the motive between these two. I mean, I can't think of a better motive than to make someone bleed. But that, I like it. I like seeing big monsters fight each other to the death.
True. I love it. I enjoy it myself, and they can keep doing it for sure. Absolutely. And I won't be mad at it. But Annie,
where is our truth, by the way? Still dead.
What is it?
Where's our truth?
Our truth died. He's gone.
Yeah. And I want to bring up the fact that there was an official body count of this match alone, not including any of the other matches. 109.
My God.
109.
Jeez.
R.I.P. those poor souls. But
they're all gone.
All dead. I mean, dead.
Crazy stuff.
We see dead people on Raw.
Yes, all the time.
All the time.
But Annie, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna pay a few bills. Then when we come back, we're gonna jump into some Annie analysis.
Let's go.
Exciting things are happening at the Kokomo Press. Yeah, very exciting things. Not only are we bringing you comedy shows, an open mic once a week, skits, videos, funny jokes on our page, and satire news stories, but now you can support us by going to kokomopress.shop. It's that simple. You go to kokomopress.shop, you find a t-shirt, you find a hat, maybe in the future some stickers and some posters. You go on there, you buy one of those from us, and percentage of the proceeds will go to us and help support what we do. We appreciate every person who just likes, subscribes, does all that. But if you go to kokomopress.shop and you buy something, we'll know who you are. You send us a photo of it. We will post it on our page and shout it out. Thank you so much. Go to kokomopress.shop, buy all your shirts and hats needs, and support the Kokomo Press. Thank you guys so much. kokomopress.shop.
Hello everyone, it's the Pope Elijah Burke, founder and president of the Love Alive charity. I wanted to take this brief moment to share with you my charity's continued humanitarian efforts to positively impact the impoverished communities in and around the greater Jacksonville area. This cannot be possible without your support. If you'd be so kind, please take a moment to visit our website, love-alive.org, to learn more about the charity and its mission. Also, feel free to donate to our 501c3 organization that operates off of the donation of the public, which is you. Whether that be by website or via Cash App, $1 help makes a difference in the lives of others as we continue to positively influence many people by being the change that we wish to see in the world.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to In Your House, and specifically the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal. And you guys already know the vibes. It is time for us to get a little bit of Annie analysis. Now, Annie, I know that you have been taking on all sorts of different rides, all sorts of different emotional journeys with this Judgment Day storyline. It continues. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts on where we're moving with everything going on with the Judgment Day? We found out, oh my gosh, Dominic Mysterio is going to be in a shark cage hanging above the ring during the Women's Championship match. Go ahead and give us some of your thoughts on everything going on as the Judgment Day storyline between Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, and the rest continues.
You know what? I'm going to start off on an interesting pivot. Libra season just began. I'm a star bitch. I follow the astrological signs and what's going on in the cosmos. So, Libra is represented by the scales. Scales represent judgment. That means the scales are in the process of rebalancing. There are a few people on this show who will inevitably meet the reckoning. The Judgment Day will meet their reckoning. Specifically, Dom in that cage with two women circling beneath him. You know what? You can't outrun your actions forever. When you lie, cheat, steal, you will inevitably get what's coming to you. And Rhea is balancing those skills herself. You know, things happen because they serve us. Maybe being ejected from Judgment Day was one of the best things that's ever happened to her. She was spared from all kinds of lies and deceit. And you know what? Seeing Liv Morgan receiving that headbutt was so satisfying.
I'm sure it was. That headbutt was brutal.
She went cockeyed for a second. She really did. And you know what? It was really satisfying to see Dom relive some PTSD from being behind bars. You know, he did really hard time.
Hard time.
Really privileged person did really hard time. White collar, if you know what I mean. But just to see him revert to that cheer of panic. Loved it. And it got me all excited for Bad Blood. Because
yes.
I'm a big believer that the scales will always balance inevitably, and I can't wait to see it. What you put into this universe will find you.
It's coming back, ain't it?
I really didn't think that Liv Morgan expected Rhea to be cleared for Bad Blood. And
yep, that was funny.
It was.
Oh man, no, funny stuff. I enjoyed it. That was Annie analysis as we continue talking about what's going on with the Judgment Day. Dom is going to be in a cage, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be very interesting. And guys, we're gonna have a really interesting episode for you guys next week, as myself and the amazing Annie O'Neal. We are going to do. It's going to be a big episode here for the Raw Deal because next week we're going to be doing our Bad Blood prediction show. And then I actually get a chance to chill out and do one of my favorite things. And that's watch wrestling with the homies. Because we are going to do a watch along. And I don't know which one yet, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to show Annie a Bad Blood Hell in a Cell match from the past. And you guys can join us too to help get you excited for what is inevitably going to be Drew McIntyre and CM Punk going head to head in a Hell in a Cell match October 5th at Bad Blood. So next week, Bad Blood prediction and Bad Blood Hell in a Cell watch along with myself and the big dog Annie O'Neal.
Our last review before Bad Blood.
Yes, it's gonna be fun. So next week's Monday Night Raw actually is gonna be a really interesting Monday Night Raw because it is the go home show before we head over to Bad Blood. And I talked a little bit about it just a second ago because we're gonna be watching the Hell in a Cell match, so we might as well just go ahead and talk about that. And that's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre came out and he cut a promo, as we saw a promo a week before from CM Punk, and I have WWE's Instagram up, so we can't show you their YouTube, but we can show you their social medias. This is just a little bit of what was said by Drew McIntyre.
It's appropriate you compared yourself to the devil again last week because this has always been good versus evil, hasn't it? And of course, you compare yourself to a supernatural being. You've always seen yourself as a godlike figure, but you're just a man. A man that I've broken so easily in the past. And a man that I will break permanently inside Hell in a Cell.
Wow, strong words. Strong words there from Drew McIntyre. Annie, you heard it there first. What did you think?
I don't think Drew McIntyre hears how he sounds. He sounds completely ridiculous. Like, out of all of Drew McIntyre's antics, did he just somehow imply that he was good in the good versus evil narrative?
That man's delusional.
Delusion. Okay. I'm like,
he's lost it, man.
It's just so interesting as the weeks pass by. Drew McIntyre just becomes more unhinged.
But I love it.
I do too. And it's like, oh, you're a mess. You're a mess. You need a hug. You need to go and see a therapist. We need to talk about your feelings because you just sound silly.
He's a train wreck, but it's crazy to watch. It's crazy to watch, but you can't stop watching.
It almost is sad to watch.
Yeah.
It's like the inmates are running the prison, but they will be inside of a cage. So.
Oh, I'm so ready for that.
Indirectly, it stands.
I'm so ready for that match. I'm ready for it. They've done a really good job.
Do you think we will see them one last time to get face to face before Bad Blood? Because it was last week we saw CM Punk respond for the first time.
Yep.
After that, after his well, he was dead.
Yeah, he was dead. That man
He
was
was
dead.
dead.
So, yeah, I do, Annie. I think that they've set it up to keep them away from each other for 2 weeks in a row, which was smart.
I think
like
that was
it.
a really good idea.
Yes, I think that was really smart. I think they have one final face-to-face on Monday. I don't know if things get out of hand, just because that's kind of been the theme of Raw, is that things kind of go awry, and then we're having to have a bunch of referees come out and this and that, blah blah blah. You said the what chance?
Yeah, did you hear those while Drew was talking?
I did. What
do you think that is a mark of, if anything?
I
had a few different reactions to that.
Okay, well, what did you think? I want to get your thoughts.
I feel like, one, that I feel like the audience does that when they feel like they're getting bored.
Ooh, you took that. There it is, right there. Have we not been saying this? We've been saying this, Annie. We've been saying that this feud is starting to get a little stale, and they have to blow it up.
As much as I love being right, I take great pride in it. I don't want to be right in this case.
I know.
But I can't deny what my ears hear.
True. We've got some action in the chat here. Watching.
Eye
emoji. And also love the show. We appreciate it, Cheryl. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Much love. We do appreciate you checking this out and watching. But back to the point here at hand, and that's the fact that I'm excited for this match. I really want to see this match. But Annie, we've both been talking about this. We have both been saying that this has it's gonna get to a point that it's already stale bread. The bread is getting stale right now as we are speaking. If they try to do something past Bad Blood, oh yeah, you might as well just throw that's rock hard bread right there. You might as well just toss it out. It got the mold all over it and everything. Get it out of there.
Yeah. No, I feel like they'll be beating a dead horse if they try to extend this till Survivor Series.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
No.
That will be a year that CM Punk has been back, and the entire year that Punk has been here in WWE, he's been feuding with Drew McIntyre. I don't want to see this continue. If you're going to bring out Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, that is, you have to keep them away from each other. Somebody's got to go off TV. Somebody's got to go to another show. Keep them away from each other because you have to. Something has got to be done to where this is the final time, the blow off. This is it, over, because these two men, especially in the current landscape of WWE where things are moving so fast and they're selling so many tickets, it's a great time to be a WWE fan right now. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, period. But it's a great time to be a WWE fan right now because they're one of the hottest tickets and entertainment right now, and that's just fact.
Right now.
Yeah. You get, especially for CM Punk.
And we're going to 2 hours after Bad Blood.
Exactly. And after that, like you said, we go to 2 hours after Bad Blood. We're not going to listen. Nobody's going to want to see this story anymore.
October 7th.
Yeah. Yep. Right after Bad Blood. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Right after. So yeah, nobody's gonna want to see it anymore, man. We want to move on. I want to see Drew McIntyre do something else. Maybe CM Punk be one of Gunther's next opponents in the next few months. That would be pretty compelling. But we got to do something else, because if we don't do something else, you are going to waste the time that you have, the little bit of window of time that you have with CM Punk. And you're going to ruin some of the prime years of Drew McIntyre where he's doing some of his best work.
Yes.
You got to get these two away from each other, Annie.
I agree. I think this would be a good point for CM Punk to pivot to NXT.
I wouldn't be mad at that either. It seems like he really enjoys his time down there.
I agree.
Yeah. So I just think it's interesting. I like where it's going, but it's got to end. It's got to end at Bad Blood. So most definitely, it's interesting. But I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you
Mhm.
about this because we talked about pretty much almost everything on Monday Night Raw, but we still have to talk about Sami Zayn and Ludwig Kaiser. Uh, I kind of figured Ludwig would lose as
Mhm.
much as I like Ludwig Kaiser. They talked about that on Window Lickers about how he's a potential blue chipper, and I absolutely agree with all of our brothers over there on Window Lickers. I think that
Mhm.
Ludwig Kaiser is a potential blue chipper, and I think that he's exceeded expectations from being just considered a tag team guy to this guy could possibly be a singles mid card champion at some point in his career. You made a really good comp in the chat on Monday,
Mhm.
Annie, when you compared Ludwig Kaiser to the male version of Tiffany Stratton, which
Is.
I absolutely see that. I absolutely agree with that. That's a very, very good comp and a good lane for him. Funny that they're dating too, that they
Isn't that
really do
ironic?
kind of mirror each other. Yeah, and that they do kind of the way they're being like positioned, it's very much mirrors each other. So it's just really weird, especially since they're also dating.
She's very shiny as a human being, and weirdly, he is too.
Yeah, they're both really shiny.
I know, like, I don't know if it's their aura. I don't know if it's like something they enhance physically on their body, but like
I don't know.
when you
As long
see
as they're
two
staying
people
away
like
from
right.
as long as they're staying away from those thousands of baby oil bottles that Diddy
Aw.
was having. No, stay away from
Aw.
all that. Stay
Just
away
all of the
from
Diddy
all
memes
that.
that I've seen replaying over social media have just went reeling through my brain. That was really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Thank you.
just like a quick
Thank
scroll
you.
in your brain.
Right.
Yep.
Oh man.
But
I don't
no,
think it's the baby oil that makes them shiny. Ugh. Ugh. I just grossed myself out.
oh yeah, that's nasty.
Yeah.
That's nasty work.
Hey, you set me up for it. My brain will go there.
Hey, that is okay. That is okay.
I'm
We
wired.
welcome it. We welcome it here
Cool.
at In Your House. But I gotta say, I'm still here for Gunther, man. I am still here for Gunther. I love the fact that he came out. I was like, for a second, I was like, oh shoot, he didn't come out in a suit. He came out like he was ready to fight.
I know. He was ready to throw hands. That was one of the biggest things that I noticed in that match. Like he wasn't wearing the suit that he has been for the last 3 weeks. He came out wearing his gear. He was
Yeah.
ready for a fight. I don't know what he was ready for. Oh, he teased the audience that he was going to accept Sammy's challenge.
Zayn's challenge. Yep. He said, "You guys want to do this tonight? We could do it right here." Classic heel. Classic heel.
I was worked. Worked
Me too.
the fuck out. I didn't go to the gym, but I was worked. I worked out. Okay.
I loved it. I loved the whole and here's the thing, it just goes with the fact that Gunther is a classic heel. He can do those classic tactics and still work.
That stupid humor, like that smarmy, disgusting heel would have. Like just toying with our emotions. And it only pissed off Sammy even more.
Yep.
Sammy doesn't like the word no. I don't like the word no.
Mm-mm.
But if anyone dislikes the word no the most, I think it's Sami Zayn.
Yeah. Listen.
Do you
right
think
there.
This win over Ludwig Kaiser sent a message to Gunther in any way?
Yeah, it does. I don't think Ludwig got hurt from the loss because everybody sees that Kaiser is going to be somebody pretty soon. Maybe sometime next year. You know, we really see if the draft comes up and they split him and keep him heel. I think you keep him in a heel lane, but definitely put him on a different show. I'd love to see him on SmackDown. I just think that like he needs to stick out away from Gunther at some point. Right now is not the time, but I do want to see that at some point because he's really, really damn good, and I see a lot in him.
And on the other hand, what do you think this loss means between Ludwig and Gunther? Do you think this changes their dynamic at all?
There's definitely going to be some tension because one thing about Gunther is that he hates losing, he hates imperfections, he hates all that stuff. Yep. So with that being said, there's definitely for sure going to be some tension because he does not. That's one of the reasons why Giovanni Vinci got out because you know he was a loser and Gunther doesn't associate with losers.
Doesn't
So
like blemishes.
exactly. So not only the fact that he get in, I think it was the week before, he got in Ludwig's face and said, "Do you have something to tell me? Do you have something to tell me?" So there was already tension there. And then he took that loss on Monday night. The tension is just going to continue. So yes, I think there's definitely going to be a change in dynamic when the next time they interact.
I think they brought it up on Window Lickers on Monday. Do you think they can still separate Ludwig and Gunther and still keep both of them heel?
The only way you do that is if they have the draft come along and Gunther stays on Raw, because he's at the time will likely be the world heavyweight champion. So he won't be able to be drafted. He'll just stay on Raw. But then boom, maybe midway through the show or something, and maybe Gunther's out there. I don't know. Maybe they do it live on the show, like live with them in the ring. But I can see there is a situation where Ludwig gets drafted to SmackDown and they have to split fairly amicably in some kind of way, because I don't want to see Gunther like whoop his ass on his last episode of Raw, because then that kind of makes him like a sympathetic babyface going into his run on SmackDown. And I don't want to see that. I want to see him stay heel.
What if Ludwig turns on Gunther? Does that automatically mean that Gunther is the face?
It doesn't, because if they because Gunther's such a heel. I think the only way he turns on Gunther is if Gunther is like just keeps bullying him and pushing him and prodding him, and that's what I perceive. And that's going to make Kaiser turn face. But then if he turns face and you send him to SmackDown, then you have to kind of rebuild him again. And he already has a really good foundation as a heel. He just looks like, and I think Kevin Calloway talked about this, and I agreed, that he just has this smarmy look. He looks like a guy you just want to punch him in the face, smack him in the face. I think you got to keep somebody like that a heel. He's better. He's in a better lane as a heel.
I mean, because even if he was in the position where his circumstances, like on paper, made him face, I feel like he could still exude that pompous air, like European elegance.
Yeah.
Without really deviating from that when he opens his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just depends on what's being written and what kind of storylines he's thrust into.
Bingo.
I think there's a way to do it if it's written correctly.
Yes. If something's written correctly, almost anything can be done.
Because just because you're an antagonist doesn't mean you're bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And who knows, like in the current landscape of WWE, not just WWE, but professional wrestling, like people get behind what they get behind.
Right.
That's the beauty of what wrestling is right now. You don't have some crazy coked up billionaire telling you what you have to like. You can like what you like. And that's the beauty of today's wrestling. So anything can get behind if somebody relates to it and feels that and understands the motivation behind it. And the more that you portray that and put that on screen, the more people feel that. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing as entertainers, what the wrestlers are doing as athletes, but also entertainers, is making you feel, making you care. Love it or hate it, you feel something when you see that person walk through that curtain.
You should give yourself a standing ovation. Cool. I like it. I don't think you could have wrapped it up any more perfectly than that.
Hey, I being around for a while, you learn some things from some very, very smart people. And I've had the fortune in my life to be around some very, very intelligent people when it comes to professional wrestling, and it's helped elevate this show. So, I think Monday Night Raw has been elevated. A great show that it was, most definitely. And we're going to call this a really great show. But before I do that, Annie, I got to ask I gotta ask you something because big thing dropped today. Big docuseries dropped today. I know it just happened. I know me and my wife we're gonna check it out tonight as we're getting ready to go to bed. Maybe like a few episodes of it. I know you and Kevin Calloway were saying you guys were gonna check it out. I've already seen a few blurbs come out about this docuseries. I'm not sure what you've seen or if you've seen anything that's come out, but what are you anticipating it? Are you excited for it?
Mhm.
I mean, there's the things that's going to be said. What are your thoughts, like your mindset going into watching this docuseries about Vince McMahon?
You know, one thing, I am one of those people who try to avoid like the blurbs or the spoilers because
Okay.
I want to be like, I mean, it's inevitable. You see things online, like it is what it is. But one thing that I saw was that Vince McMahon tried to buy the docuseries, right?
Yeah. Yep. He did. He
So
did.
I can only imagine why someone like that would try to contain something that's going to be so revelatory, and I can't
He's
wait to find out why.
worried, Annie. He's worried. Oh my God, he's
Desperate,
worried.
desperate. And one thing that really excites me is when someone who knows what they do, they know what is coming, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what comes to light.
Listen, it is going to be very interesting.
Because we're
He's
starting it
trending right
tonight.
now. He's definitely trending right now. I just pulled up his Twitter because I wanted to pull up this tweet real quick before we get out of here. I'm not sure if you guys can
Mhm.
read it, but if you can, I'll read it to you. It
Yes.
says, I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. The title and promos alone make that evident. A lot has been misinterpreted or misrepresented, that is, or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks without of context footage and dated sound bites to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am, in fact, Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story. Oh my God, this man is worried.
The political dip and twirl is
Yes.
astounding. Like just the PR mental gymnastics that is
Oh
just
my
inserted.
God.
Like oh, it's egregious, Con, and it's
Yeah.
he like uh
Yeah.
just the logical fallacies that just tripped in my brain space. Like I'm like straw man, hasty generalization. I'm like just wasn't didn't Linda McMahon have a run in politics too?
She did. She did.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. He learned some tricks, didn't he? Sheesh.
but how else do you maintain that power of position for so long?
Yeah, true. Absolutely, no, absolutely
Money.
true.
Money.
I'll leave it. I'll leave it at this. I absolutely love the universe that man created. I mean, we're still talking about it to this day, and it's motivated so many of us in so many different ways. For sure, love it. But my God, what a scumbag!
It's crazy what money drives people to do and what they think that they can get away with.
Oh yeah.
Because yes, he has amassed this business that we love and that we are able to create content about. But like, damn.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys are going to check it out. I definitely plan on talking about the docuseries this Sunday on the Sunday House Party, so I wanted to bring that up. But we got to slide out of here, call this a really great episode. But I got to give my amazing co-host an opportunity, the big dog, of course, Annie O'Neal, a chance to plug anything that she has to plug. Annie, it is your time.
Con, the adventures just keep coming to me, and I'm so grateful. Just when you put things out in the universe, they find you. They really do. So October 4th, For Us Wrestling in Wyandotte, Michigan, we are being invaded by JCW. So that's going to be a huge show. I am on the pre-show with my friend Clinton Davis. We'll be running down the card before the show starts. So that is coming at you October 4th. October 5th, my friend, the Concept Alicon House, and we joined forces for the first time ever at Emerge Wrestling in Indiana for thrills and chills. I will be making my correspondent debut.
Yes.
And it's going to be fun.
Oh, I'm
Let
so
them know what the
excited.
main event is. Let them know.
Oh my gosh, that main event, it is amazing, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to see our friend, our brother, that is, of course, the Emerge World Heavyweight Champion Paragon, and he is going to be facing up against TNA Superstar, top-notch Jason Hodge, and that is going to be great, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss that in Columbus, Indiana, because it is going down, ladies and gentlemen. Right there, thrills and chills, October 5th, Paragon, Jason Hodge. I'll be there. Annie O'Neal will be there. It's going to be a movie, ladies and gentlemen. You know where I'm going to be at, right here doing my thing here at In Your House, making that movie. You guys already know the vibes, and you guys already know about our house party. We're going to continue to promote that as the days go by. But guys, we got to roll. We got to get out of here. So, of course, you guys better get in that work. And, of course, that's HOWSC because that's exactly what that W stands for. It is work. So, guys, for the amazing, divinely designed Annie O'Neal, for Kevin Calloway, for Hypocrisy Jones, for the voice Josh Joseph, for Grunmeister, for the world's most dangerous game and the world's most dangerous podcaster, Paragon, I am Alicon, the Concept House, here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to hop on this bandwagon. Get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.
Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con, in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast, it's like cruiserweight action. Your house is the perfect distraction. Pumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke.